This is Doug here. Welcome back to the channel. Or oh, I messed that up. This is what happens when you go live. What is up, guys? This is Doug here, or as you all know me as, I am Boulder, or just Boulder. And today we're gonna be talking about, well, we're gonna be having a well-needed discussion, not about my channel, but more or less a game I play, Destiny 2. For those of you who have, well, stayed, who have dropped in some of my some of my videos, y'all saw that was live streaming Destiny 2 a little bit. So, what's the talk that I need to have? Why is this video called, well, we need a talk or something? So, it's more not less about the content, more or less it's not about the content that Bungie's currently producing, it's the overall type of content that Bungie is producing within Destiny 2. A lot of it seems bland, like kind of stale. Like, of course not this season, because like this is a new season, and I actually like the idea of going into the Vex network. I like that doing the expunge. It's not difficult. It's not extremely difficult. Like, the boss is super easy now because we have stasis, and certain weapons get a buff, and the new aspects make stasis really good, and makes fighting the Wyvern boy pretty easy. That, and everyone's been grinding the hell out of him. But that's not the point. Point is, it's kind of, for the last year, Bungie has been a little redundant. And as in, like, oh, they've been making this similar content over and over, keep bringing back old content. Also, well, something I don't have a problem with, because I didn't have a problem with bringing back, you know, Fallen Saber, because it's like, oh, then the Destiny 2, it's just Fallen trying to reform the House of Devils, and trying to rebuild Sepix Prime, which we ultimately stop. Similar way with Fallen Saber. Fallen tried to rebuild Saber. They tried to rebuild Saber 2, and well, that goes off. What I didn't like, and I'm glad they changed it, but they refused to bring anything else back. They haven't brought back any of the older weapons, which they should have done. I wouldn't have mind getting them back, because it's like, if they brought back every other weapon, let's say that's been brought into, like, I forgot what it's called. It's been brought into, like, I don't know, that was reintroduced in Season of Arrivals, or any of the 7 Seraph weapons that were first released. Okay, so the 2 seasons before Season of Arrival onward, it's not being sunset. So why is that an issue? The issue is they sunset and vaulted way too much content. And there's a content they have. There's so much stuff they have that's like there in the vendors, planetary vendors still, like Devram K. There's plenty of examples. There's Devram, there's, I keep wanting to mention the other one people's names, but they're gone. Anna's eventually gonna come back, but we don't know when. Maybe Witch Queen. But we have Sean Ha. There's so much untapped potential with him, and there's so much potential we can use for the other planetary vendors. Like, we can bring back old weapons to help balance the meta a little bit more. Like, bring them back as weekly random rolled weapons. Which honestly would be pretty nice. There's so much untapped potential here, which we cried loud enough to where they did something about trace rifles and linear fusions. And if we cry loud enough, they'll bring everything else back. Which, it's obvious they're gonna bring back the older campaigns, because, like, they have the legacy. Because if you look at the description, it says older raids, dungeons, and other content will be stored here. So it could be a possibility that we could actually be going back into it. We could be able to access that part of the time lost as well, the time lost section of the director, in which case I would really like to access that, because, as in, like, oh, it's free for everybody, because it was free for everyone before, and now it's just base game. That's it. It's just base game, and then you have to buy Beyond Light and the Season's Pass to actually play. If they brought back the Forsakens, they brought back this Forsaken loot pool, or the Shadowkeep loot pool, or if they reintroduce, or if they have a legacy, they bring back the legacy Red War, or Legacy Warmind, or Legacy Curse of Osiris. You know how many people would love that? You like bring back the loot pool. Another thing, I recently just tweeted a Bungie like 8 minutes ago. Yeah, like 7-8 minutes ago, and he's saying, "Dear Bungie, while I do agree that older content should make some sort of a reappearance, not all content though, I do believe, however, of two things that should be changed. For the most part, like, A, universal infusion between weapons and armor. So this one is going to be an ease off of everyone's shoulders, because we don't know if they take away infusion cores and then bring in the D1 style of infusion, basically just glimmer and legendary shards. That's literally all I want. Or in D1 it was legendary crystals, but yeah. Yeah, this was long ago. So here we are. But also, what I mean by D1 infusion is like, oh, universal infusion is basically where it just requires legendary shards, glimmer, and then you can infuse any weapon that's in a secondary slot into another weapon that's in the secondary slot. But it can only apply to that slot. So secondary slot weapons can only slot into secondary slot weapons. Same with primary and heavy. And then armor. This is going to make getting pinnacle, having availability to pinnacle so much easier, because the availability for pinnacle grabs, like higher pinnacle grabs, is going to be so much easier, because you can infuse Titan armor, or be able to fuse your high power Titan armor that you don't need into a Warlock. Same goes for weapons and all that. You can infuse a mark into a cloak. Honestly, if we get that, I'll be happy that we finally got something good. We finally have or at least something similar, or at least, yeah, tweaked, like, less, well, not tweaked, but because the D1 system was actually perfect in my opinion, but Bungie is Bungie, as we all know. But as for okay, yeah, so in future. Yeah, like I said before, we need element, we need universal infusion, we need ammo. I didn't tell him this, but we do need ammo synths back. We need ammo synths. Yeah, we have ammo crates, but that was also in D1. Of course, we have banners now. Yeah, obviously we have like ammo crates now, like they were in D1, but it's like still. Another thing that's kind of bugs me as well is like, oh, we have these what do you call them? Not ammo crates. We need 3 of coins back. That's another thing we need, because like 3 of coins, that'll allow us to get exotic drops a lot easier. It's like, oh, we want exotic drops to be rare. It was still hard to get them even with it. You have a higher. They were stackable, and like they could stack 5 at a time, and like the more, so like if you stacked them up to 5 times. You have a good chance. You'll have a 50-50 chance of whether the next boss you fight, you have the chance of getting exotic, and if not, it'll drop to 4, because like you said, that one you use, So basically, how the 3 of coins worked in D1, it's like you stacks up to 5 times. For each time you use it, one of the coins out of that sack will go away, lessening your chances of getting one, but you'll still have a chance. And until event, but yeah. But yeah, it was actually pretty fun using the that system, because like by this point everyone has at least almost every, if not every, obtainable exotic on each of their character, or are close to getting on every, if you know what I mean. So why do we need, because like, what if you want to get one that has a better armor stat roll? Well then, you don't have to wait for Zur, you can actually get it then. You know what I mean? And sorry for getting off track. I've got to get concentrated on the game, on Destiny. But another big thing that should be brought up is better ways to grind, because in the current state, after doing all, by the time all the stuff like the dailies and daily bounties, the weekly bounties and stuff like that before reset, if they do it at the end of the week, they're probably not going to get to like, probably get to only like 35, 40, and that's not a lot if you're grinding at the beginning of the city. So, by the time you get done with it, if you grind from day one without having to turn in bounties from the previous season, like Crucible and all that, what was I saying? Oh, right. Sorry. So like currently if you grind from day one, bounties and everything, first week, you're probably only gonna be 35, 40. And when someone normally does this, did this when this was done last season, someone would be like 50, 60 by the time 55, 60 by the time you hit week 2, which is actually really good, because you can get certain things a lot quicker. You know what I mean? Ah, wait. And so what we need is a better grinding system, you know what I mean? And third of all, what we need the most, honestly, is, well, just like, for Witch Queen, this is my biggest expectation. Don't bring back the Dreadnought. Like, sure, you can bring back Dreadnought in some place, like in a season, which that would be pretty cool. But, like, don't bring it back in, like, one of the biggest DLC, the biggest DLC since The Taken King. And it's actually maybe bigger because we've known about her. We knew she was coming even before The Taken King, so it's like, this is probably going to be, besides Lightfall, the biggest DLC. And they better do a damn good job in Witch Queen, or else I may actually quit Destiny. I mean, it's a bit of an understatement. I may actually do a Destiny run, which is like a much more
Outstanding. Seeing the Vex networks collapse like this makes me wonder if we could apply these tactics on a larger scale. If we could collapse everything they've built across time.
To what end, Osiris?
Eradication of the Vex. Entirely.
And humanity wonders why the Vex are so hostile. Do you not wonder if this is a future the Vex predict?
We do what we must to survive.
So will they.
Anyways, yeah, those are the things I think Bungie needs to change. Either way, thank you all for watching the video, and tune in sometime in the future for another. As always, catch y'all on the flip side.